Welcome to the Autosportradio.com 19 show. I'm your host, Don Kay. We are live from McGilvery Speedway, 30th and High School in the beautiful town of Speedway, Indiana. If you're coming to town in the next couple of months, you got to make sure you stop by McGilvery's. Great food, great service, and the adult beverages are ice cold. Tonight's show is presented, as always, by Honda and Honda HPD, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, NTT IndyCar Series, and SVRA. A few things to mention. First off, on Wednesday, April the 10th at 5:30, Dick Jordan is going to be honored for his 50-plus years in motorsports, 50 years with the United States Auto Club. It'll be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum. Again, it starts at 5:30. If you get a chance, you certainly want to go out and see Dick and honor him. A couple of things I want to thank Dirt Track Danny Williams and his wife Mary and his gang for inviting me to their race chasers. I thought they were kidding when they suggested it, but I succumbed and went to it, and it was great. I had a good time. There was a real good turnout. We appreciate that. It was held this past Saturday at Green Street in Brownsburg, and I was surprised there was more people there than I thought would be there. Couldn't understand that one. If you hadn't heard yet, Dan Weldon and Bob Jenkins are the newest inductees in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame. And they certainly deserve to be there. How did you like COTA? Did you enjoy the race? Think it was a good facility to have a good race? Did you like who won the race? Strangely enough, this gentleman's father made the statement very, very strongly that what IndyCar needs is some American heroes, and they got one. And they've got several of them, actually. And there's one sitting here with me, actually, by the way. For those of you who have yet had the opportunity and the thrill to see Beep Time, you've got to go see them. Trust me when I tell you. It's an excellent band. They are very good. They've invited me to sing, and I just had to turn, because the crowds would be too much, so I can't do it. But they will be appearing on April the 6th at Britain Tavern in Noblesville. April 22nd, they're going to be here. No, 27th. April 27th, they'll be here at McGilvery's, and if you haven't seen them and you're on the west side, you got to come and see them. And then May 18th, they're at the Free Spirit in Castleton. If you haven't seen this group, see it. Trust me, it's worth the trip. Everybody loves to go to a dentist, don't you? Well, help yourself out. Go to the Indy Dental Group. Dr. Jack Miller and Dr. Liz Lewis have a phenomenal practice. Great. Need an appointment with a dentist? Call them, 317-846-6125. And if you are like me and have to have computer problems, and I have it again, call Jack at Computer Overdrive. Tell him your problem. He'll tell you what he can do, and he can help you. Make an appointment. Number 317-328-0766. And if you haven't been to the museum yet to see the Hoosier Thunder Indiana Short Track Heritage, you got to get over there. They're open March through October. They're November through February 10 to 4, and it will expire on the 21st of April, and then incoming then on May 1st will be the Mario Andretti show. So get over there, take a look, and get ready. My first guest is a young man who, whenever he has the time, he's always come in and stopped by. When I mentioned last week he was coming, a lot of people went, yeah, and they started applauding. I thought it was for me, but of course it was not. He is set up to make his 6th attempt to qualify for the Indianapolis 500. He's driving for Andretti Autosport, sponsored by the United States Air Force. This guy is going to do it. One of these days they're going to say, we need him. Please welcome Mr. Conor Daly.
Thanks. Thank you.
You know, you work diligently to find support for yourself, and finding it's not as easy as it is. You did such a job that the Air Force was impressed and they came back again. And they're doing more now than they did last year because you appeared at schools and so forth and were very successful. Are you doing that again and even more this year?
Yeah, well, actually, speaking of sponsors, literally the CEO of the diabetes company that also is our sponsor literally was just texting me. So
I'll get to that in a
no,
second.
it's all part of the game. I mean, I'm a one-man band. I don't have managers or anything like that work on this stuff. So yeah, I mean, the Air Force, they saw a massive return on their investment last year. It honestly didn't matter to them. It didn't even matter whether I burned down on lap 1 or whether we finished the race and wherever we did. It was all in the activation that we did, and that was really helpful. So that's awesome. I mean, obviously though, we're super competitive, and they really wanted to say, all right, what do we need to do to get to the next level? And I was like, well, I'll tell you exactly where we need to go, and that's Andretti, or well, I mean, any of the top teams, right? Last year's situation was such a different situation than we thought it would be, and it was a shame that it was like that, but I guess you have to go through something like that to end up here. Like, if we didn't go through all the terrible stuff that we went through last year with that program, then we wouldn't be here with Andretti. So, they had to spend a lot more to get to Andretti, but it's going to be great. I mean, we get to test. I get to be on the simulator. I mean, I'll have never had this much preparation for the Indy 500, which is really nice. Obviously, racing and all the other races would be much more preparation, but as a one-off effort, this will be the most preparation I've ever had. So it's pretty cool. We're gonna, I was already doing autograph sessions for them at their activation in Austin, because they're gonna have like a big activation, flight simulator, stuff like that, recruiting setups, like 5 races this year, because they're a partner with Andretti for the season. So yeah, a lot of work to be done still, trying to go to high schools and do all that stuff for to bring the Air Force to the younger folks out there, and then we'll see what happens.
And I wanted to get to the mention that you are now back, and I had forgotten that you do have diabetes.
Yeah,
I had forgotten that. And what's the name of the company that has come on board as an associate?
Yeah, so that's Mankind Corporation. The CEO, actually, really good guy. He reached out to me directly, the CEO of the company, a $1 billion company or whatever, after the whole deal last year that happened with that other diabetes company that dropped me. And I was like, oh, wow, this guy is really cool. He was like, he immediately was like, well, how can I get you into Sonoma? And I was like, it's like $350,000, so I don't know. He's like, all right, that's a bit much for now. What about next year? I was like, well, we're working on something. So over the winter, we went back and forth. He's very new to, they've never sponsored anyone before. They don't know what that's like. They're launching this new diabetes drug that's the fastest acting insulin in the world, which is really cool. It eliminates the injections that I have to do. It's inhalable. So it's huge for just living with diabetes itself. So it looks like essentially a gold mine. I mean, it's going to be great for people like me and anyone who struggles with it. So we worked all year. The guy owns one of Tony Kanan's first Ferraris. Like, he's a big racing guy, loves racing. He's a younger CEO. So yeah, we finally got him in as a small partner for now. But he's certainly potentially a bigger supporter. So that's part of the game. And we've got the U.S. Air Force. We've got him. He's coming to Long Beach, his first IndyCar race, to kind of check it out and see what's going on. And then he's obviously going to come to the 500 as well, and it's going to blow his mind because he's never been, and it's the best thing ever. So we're excited about that, and I'm excited personally because it helps me live. So if I can help other people as well and kind of get that message out, because it's a newer drug and it's a newer company, and it's trying to appeal to more affordable insulins. So I'm excited to at least get that out there, because people just don't know about them yet. So it's a matter of launching it to get ahead of those other companies that we've seen sponsor racing drivers in IndyCar and NASCAR before.
Do you need the insulin like Charlie does? Do you need that while you're
driving? Yeah, we're the same. No, we don't take it when we're driving though. I've had it since long before Charlie, but he's the one who made millions of dollars off of it, and I couldn't. But the biggest regret of my career is not coming out and saying I had diabetes when I was like 14. No. But that's okay. We're here now. But yeah, same thing. Same me, Ryan Reed, and Charlie Kimball. Those are the only guys that are that have type 1, at least at this level.
So you don't need to monitor yourself when you're
No, we
driving.
monitor it the whole time, but you don't actually take insulin when you're racing. No,
but you can drink something that will if it drops
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did know that you had, and I forgot about it when I saw that they were coming
Come
on.
on, man, you got to get on the program here.
Well, I saw it, and I forgot about it. How much more? Well, you've said that what you're going to get with Andretti Autosport is more than probably you've had in your entire career just for one race, with all of the help and all of the simulators and testing and all that stuff. It's got to build your confidence, because they put out a pretty good car.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, everything that I've seen so far, I've been at every race with the team. I've been, sitting in and I'm only allowed in certain meetings and only allowed in certain areas, and I can only stand on Alex's stand. I'm not allowed to go on anyone else's stand, which is wild, but I get it, because they're talking about stuff that is at such a higher level than I've ever experienced in IndyCar. I mean, all the terms, all the stuff that they're doing on the technical side is so far above anything that I've ever had in an IndyCar. I am not surprised they're as fast as they are. It's like, oh, yeah. What have I been doing all these years? Like, seriously, we're talking about the basics here, and then they're like, they're way far ahead of the basics. So it's really exciting. I mean, it's just fun for me to look at. I'm like, you know what? I don't even care what has happened previously in my life. Like, this is just going to be a lot of fun. Like, it's just going to be great to see, how this level of a team operates, and I mean the data. All the stuff that they do in prep for Indy. I mean, we built a car overnight last year that raced on a Saturday and put stickers on it, and then we were out there on a Tuesday after missing the first day of practice, right? So it's like my car's already been through the wind tunnel. It's got everything on it that it needs, and it's like, it's wild to see the difference that it takes. But I mean, you get what you pay for, right? So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So in other words, what you're saying is you can see why Andretti Autosport has won 4 of the last 6 500s.
Yeah. I mean, it's very evident, and they're trying to get better. So imagine that.
How does Mike deal with it? He's in Formula E. He's got 2 cars in that, which ran this weekend, but he wasn't there, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's got Rallycross, I believe, team.
He's got everything.
How the hell does he do it? Where does he find time to come up here to the shop?
Well, he's smart. I mean, he's Formula E's a gold mine right now, and he's got a great partnership there. And I mean, he only will do things to try and make money, right? And that's important if you want to run a successful business
and win.
Exactly, and win. So he's doing it right. Most of what he does still revolves around helping the IndyCar team succeed, because that's everyone's passion there. That's what the true heart of that team is the IndyCar team. And everyone, they were super welcoming when they knew I had a large sponsor. So it's great to be there, and like, oh yeah, Conor, we've wanted you forever. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't really believe you, but thanks. Well, let's work, But they've been cool. I mean, I've obviously been at Michael's house and Marco's house plenty of times in the past, and it's always been kind of funny to talk about it. And I've been in their shop. I've tested their cars. I've been, I've almost been in their IndyCar at least a couple times. They've helped me with sponsorship proposals, over the years before, because we've tried to make something happen, but you get lost in the crowd pretty quickly in racing. So. I totally see where I stand currently. It's not like we'd love to do more races, but it's like, they just tell that to your face. And I'm like, well, okay, well, you just have to go out there and do the job in May, and that's fine. And I'm like, yeah, you could set a totally different tone, if you go out there and start to do the job, because they see what you do on the outside, but until you actually do it in front of them or with them, then they sort of realize at least what level you're at, and that hopefully is very helpful for me.
Well, I got to think the mankind will quickly see the networking that's available, the opportunities of media and all that thing, the marketing that can come out of it, that it'll be worthwhile to get behind you for a few more races this year.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the goal. I mean, that's what we've talked about. But I think until they see it, and until they sort of get through the first quarter or two in the financial world, we'll see. But even if it doesn't work for this year, by the end of the year, we want to be looking at next year and what happens there. And obviously Andretti is quite full for a long time, but they do have a bit of a satellite team that just won a race. So there's certainly open seats around if you do it right. So So we'll see. I mean, my goal, I mean, I really, really, really want to do more than one race this year, obviously. And I'm working every day still on trying to bring more and more people around this 500 program to sort of tip the scale. But realistically, you can make enough prize money if you finish in the top 3 to maybe do like one more race, or maybe like a half a race. So, but like we can maybe tip it over. If we do finish in the top 3, I'll be like, Michael, come on, like stop, like let's just do one more. Like this is a good day. So we'll see.
Well, one thing for sure, I've watched this gentleman in St. Petersburg. He's not in a car. He's like this. He gets mobbed. People, he poses for pictures. They want his autograph. They want to talk to him, and he'll stop and talk to you. And I think, to me, that's huge. Because if a sponsor's looking at you, if you got a driver to run you over with his scooter or ignore you, that's not who you want.
Everyone's been super cool. Yeah, I mean, honestly, every race, even at COTA, there is so many people that I'm, really thankful for, because it's, I hope, you hope at some point it might count for something, and it certainly does to me personally. I'm like, hey, it makes me want to go out there and do the best job that I can to try and, make people proud and all that. But it is odd. I was walking with one of the Supercross riders for Honda at St. Pete. I was kind of showing him around, and he's done a pretty good job. He's fairly popular on the scene of Supercrossing. And I was walking to the grid with him, and like every 5 feet, I was getting stopped and something was happening. People were shouting, all this stuff. And he's like, how do you not have a ride in this series? And I was like, I can tell you exactly why. There's 5 million reasons why I don't have one. But it's wild to think that, if it doesn't matter. It's just an odd sport, right? It's just an odd era of the sport, and it is what it is. There's no sense in in sitting around and sort of being upset about it, because I'm just still, all I do every day is just think about, okay, how can I make a business deal happen, and then force my way into a great situation, and then reap the benefits of that, which is what we have in May. Is a great situation, an incredible team, a great group of people, and a really good a couple sponsors. So just try and capitalize on that.
You said you get some testing. When do you get your first seat in the car?
It's April 24th, the open test at Indy. Yeah. So I guess everyone will be there. Alonso, me, anyone that can test will test, I assume. They changed the rules because we complained last year.
So what did you think of COTA?
I thought it was great. Incredible race. I think until people started pitting for new tires, it was a little bit stale. But once that happened, and once everyone started going on their own strategies, I thought it was great. I mean, Alex was fighting Will hard. They were pushing each other so hard, and then Colton kind of mixing it up with Alex as well. That was great, and the whole midfield battle was awesome as well. I mean, people were side by side, 3 wide, all over the place, sliding off the track, sliding back on the track. Cold tires were bad. Pit exit was pretty wild there with a couple guys trying to hang in, and the cars were absolutely on the limit of sideways the whole time. So I mean, I don't know what else you can ask for. I know a lot of people complaining about certain things, but I guess race fans can really never be happy with something. So it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm a race fan too, and I'm like, oh yeah, well that was great, but I don't know if I like this. But I thought it was awesome. I mean, a lot of cool stuff. The yellow ruined a lot of people's days, but realistically, it was only like the front 2 guys when you look at it, and I thought it was awesome. I mean, I think there was a good amount of people there too for what it was. I mean, you're never going to fill that place up compared to F1, but I really enjoyed it.
I know on television, which I was privileged to watch, they kept saying, these guys better pull in case they get a caution and they get caught out there sunk. And by golly, it happened. They went, uh-oh.
Well, Alex and Will, I mean, I was on Alex's radio, and they basically just wanted to keep pushing as long as they could so they could just run a shorter stint on that last new set of reds, because both Will and Alex had new reds. And if Will was going to stop first, Alex was going to go try and lap later because he wanted to have a 1 lap fresher set of reds. But yeah, they both ended up trying to call each other's bluffs, and they ended up getting screwed.
You got to admit, I think, and a lot of people are surprised, Colton Herta drove a hell of a race, and he has.
He really did.
Since the beginning, he was quick down there to start with. He's done well, and I think a lot of people are saying, "Holy smoke, look out!"
Yeah, and I mean, I think He's done an awesome job for sure. I mean, the team that they've got over there, I have his assistant engineer as my engineer for the 500, and I've known Andy for a long time, and his Colton's engineer, Nathan O'Rourke, is like a really, really good guy, like really smart guy. He was Marco's engineer, so I don't know if he was necessarily, I don't know if him and Marco got along towards the end as well, but I think he's very, very smart. And very, very good, and now he's being used at the highest level, I guess you could say. So it's cool to see that, and that whole team, that like they've got a lot of smart people over there, and a lot of the good mechanics that I had when I was there as well, just kind of mixed in with a group of Andretti folks. So I think it's obviously really helpful, and I think at the end of the day, Michael should charge more for his services.
I noticed that after the race, he was one of the first guys to come up to Colton.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I mean, Colton's in all the debriefs with us, and I get to sit at the end of the day, so it's kind of cool to chat with him and hear him, interact with all the guys there. And, there's a lot of information there to be thankful for. I just, I told him, I was like, man, just be thankful that you're in this spot, because it's something that like young drivers would kill for, to be, seeing Ryan Hunter-Reay, Alex Rossi, Marco's data every weekend, and having that access is really cool. So I think he's been cool about it. He's like super humble kid. He's just his face looked like he was so surprised in victory lane. I was like, hey man, you did it. And he's like, yeah, that's wild. And I was like, I don't even know if he could make sentences at that point. It was kind of cool.
I was thinking, down in St. Pete, I was with some friends of ours, and this gal come up and she said, "Isn't that Conor Daly?" I said, "Yeah." "I'd sure like to meet him." I said, "Well, come on." "Oh, he won't talk to me." "Yeah, he will. Come here." So she hesitantly came over, and when you were done talking with her, you turned around, and I still get emails saying, "God, I can't believe I met him."
Nice.
With that kind of appeal, it seems to me somebody's got to wake up and say, we need this guy. He can get our insulin to the top of the ladder.
Well, that's the plan. That's the plan. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty much off people's radars when it comes to like the race team stuff, unless you force your way in, because there's new young drivers all the time, right? You got the Colton Hertas and the Patricio Awards of the world who have done an incredible job. Obviously, Patricio did a great job too this weekend. So you just, for me, I know what position I'm in, and if I can build the relationships with the people around me even stronger, then you could be anyone and still force your way in with the right amount of support around you. So I know I can do it when we do get that chance, and so that's the plan. Is we got one chance in May, and you go out there and do the best job you can, and then see what happens from there. Literally, my year, I only look at my year up till May 26th, and everyone asks, "Well, what are you doing the rest of the year?" I was like, "I don't really know. I don't know what's going to happen yet." So it's kind of like your year could go one of two different directions from that day on. So we'll see.
What have you heard about the changes that were made to the car for this year?
It's small. I mean, they try to make the racing a little bit better. There's a few different wicker packages you can run. There's a few different, just small things. I hope it's certainly better. And I think they've made small progress, but I'll let you know after I get on the simulator in like a week or two. Yeah, I do think they've done a good job, at least for trying to make the racing a little bit closer, a little bit better, because it was just really hard to follow last year, and the cars were really unbalanced in dirty air.
And Firestone, when they tested here in the fall, their tires,
exactly,
the guys I talked to, he said, "Man, what a difference this is," because they got less downforce, and now the drivers got to drive the car. They do slide, and they got to control it. I've never heard in probably 25, 30 years anybody get out of the gas going into turn one. I haven't heard that for years.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be like that, but I do think the Firestone tire is better now. They've definitely made it, and if you improve the tire, I mean, that it doesn't matter what you do with a bunch of small winglets. If you get 2% more tire grip or something like that, I mean, everything is better. So I think it'll be good. Last year was certainly I mean, we were lifting and braking and downshifting 3 times. You know what I mean? So it was a wild situation to be a part of. But I think they want to lessen that slightly. It's still going to be a lot of driving, because there is obviously less downforce and less giant wing rear bumpers and all that stuff. But I think Firestone for sure putting a lot of work on just making a little bit of a different tire, which will be nice, I hope.
It always amazes me, 2 things, many things, but 2 things in particular. An engine's been around. How do they keep making them better, get more horsepower, more efficient? What the hell do they do? I mean, they've had the engine 10 years, and it keeps getting better every year. How does
I
that
have no
happen? The
idea.
other thing is, where do they come up with another product to put in a tire to make it last longer? Do they just stumble onto something, or how do they do that?
These engineers are pretty smart these days. They're doing a lot of crazy stuff out there with their tire engineers. But yeah, I mean, Honda and Chevy are just constantly pushing the limit, right? You find small things here and there, and honestly, you know, a 0.001% of a horsepower gain is a gain, right? But it still matters. So whether or not it's a hardware thing or they change how the engine is mapped, I mean, those guys are working on something almost every session. You know what I mean? And it's small things here and there, and it's just a constant development program. So I think the engines this year have definitely looked really competitive side by side. Like, you know, you see Chevy's getting poles, but the Hondas are, you know, there's 5 Hondas in the top 6 at Austin. So I think everyone's quite close. But realistically, you only see who has the better one when you get to Indy. And then, you know, last year was obviously Chevy, very dominant. But you know, hopefully, obviously, we want Honda to be the dominant one this year.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yes.
It would be very nice.
Guys. You know, it's interesting to me what you have to go through and are going through to get a ride and so forth. It would seem to me from what you've done since you got into IndyCar, when you were with Foyt, you kept getting better, and all of a sudden that ended. I mean, you've proven you know how to drive a car. There's not a question. And for the most part, when you're done, you put it back in the trailer, same number of pieces in the same condition it was when they rolled it out. The tires are a little old, and the car might be dirty. So it just dazzles me that you struggle to get a ride.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people in the same spot, right? I mean, there's a lot of drivers who have gone through, you know, careers where they should probably be in places where they deserve to be. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? They can't focus on the reason why, I guess, because there's plenty of reasons that you could come up with. But I mean, clearly the issue at Foyt still is not the drivers. I mean, Tony Kanaan is a great driver, as good as anyone, and you know, I think I still have the best finish for Foyt in the last 5 years. So it's wild to think about. But those guys, I mean, I really like a lot of those guys on that team, and I do feel bad for them because it's a tough spot to be in, and you know, even TK is still telling people that they're still a year away. And that's what we were trying to do, is we were a year away. So it's tough to kind of keep putting yourself in that spot. But I do hope they figure it out, because I mean, AJ's obviously a legendary guy, and that ABC Supply is a great sponsor for them. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm gonna keep fighting for it no matter what. I mean, I'm still young, I guess. I hope I'm young. I'm not ancient compared to Colton. But I'm trying.
What the hell does that make me?
Well, you're legendary. I'm ancient. You're legendary.
Yeah. the age you have are the same age as the shoes I'm wearing. So you're still young.
I hope so. I'm going to try to claim the youth still for a while. I mean, I look at it like this. I think when I look at like Hinch and like Ryan Hunter-Reay, they like really hit their stride at like 27, 28, and they really started going. So like, I'm realistically in IndyCar time zones, I'm still in a decent spot. It's just a matter of like, again, this year's very important. So if we make this year go well, or even if the partners are good and we can continue to kind of work on doing more stuff with this team, for sure, you know, I'm sure there's always going to be excuses, because we're drivers, we find excuses everywhere, but but there really isn't, and that's what I'm just excited about, is the fact that, you know, so I was talking to Peter Dempsey actually today. Peter was like, you know, that's actually just really nice. I'm sure it's nice to just think about, hey, you know, yeah, it's a 5th car, but like, it's going to be really good. And I was like, yeah, I think it is. I think it's going to be really good. So we'll see.
Well, I'm sure it is, because I don't think Michael, he looks for money, but he also looks to win.
Yeah, for sure.
And he doesn't want to send you on a thing that flies apart. It doesn't make him look good either.
No, I mean, we've obviously seen it. I mean, no matter who it is, whether it's Alonso or Munoz, you know, those 5th cars are always pretty strong. Stefan last year as well, obviously. So yeah, I think that's the exciting part about it. And there's always, you know, nerves in the back of my head. I'm like, yeah, it's a 5th. Yeah, is this going to be ready? And then, you know, they keep adding to the program, which is nice. You know, I didn't think I would be getting simulator days, and now I'm in the simulator. I'm like, oh, cool, that's nice. And you know, the crew that they're putting together is a group of really good guys that I know. And yeah, I want the days to go by. I'm sick of waiting, obviously. So I hate watching races, like, a lot. And but it's nice to be with a nice team to watch the races, and I get to eat their food, so that helps a lot. And they make sure that I get to the racetrack, and I have rides to the airport and all that stuff. So that's really helpful. That's a way better spot than I've been in previously.
Well, it's about time. I mean, come on.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I know. And I think the team you're with is obviously a champion. As you said, Alonso was in the car, fifth car, and he didn't do too bad in his effort. So
yeah, I think I'm sure he had a little. I'm sure there's a little bit more for Alonso, but hopefully we'll be on the same level. I think it'll be kind of cool. I think Alonso is going to have a really interesting time. I think he's gonna find it's quite different being not an Andretti car at Indy. We'll see.
Well,
my mom is working for Alonso this year, which is odd.
Really?
Yeah. So she's part of that team. She's helping out on their hospitality side and a merchandise side and all that stuff. Yeah. So my mom is my competitor now.
Well, if I see her cheering for him, I'm going to trip her.
I asked her today on the phone. I was like, "So you're going to be wearing McLaren stuff during the month of May?" And she's like, "No." Okay, all right. Well, that's fine.
Oh, well, listen, I know that everyone here, without question, is looking forward to seeing you in a good car, in a good competitive car.
Thank you.
And nobody would be happier than your fans. And believe me, when I tell you he has fans, he's got them. They're everywhere. The place will go wild. That. Good luck to you. Good luck. Hope everything goes well. You qualify well, and top 3 finish would probably put you in a couple more races.
Everyone keeps telling me all you have to do is win Indy. I was like, yeah, good point. That's true.
Really?
So all you got to do is win. There we go.
Well, you're certainly with a team capable.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm excited no matter what. I don't care about anything else. I'm just happy to be there and to be ready and just trying to do my job to be prepared as possible to execute the plan, which is to win or do well.
Well, you've been at the Speedway 5 times. This is your 6th, so you know the track. You understand what you need. Now you get comfortable in the car and look out.
Exactly. It'll be nice.
Good luck.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to come here. And I know that everybody in here will be cheering wildly when you're in the top 5 and move you to the top 3. Get on the podium. How about you ready to see Conor win?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, after the 500, we'll call you back and see how everything was and comfy and all that stuff, and when your next race will be.
Well, the irony of, if we happen to win, I'm scheduled to be driving the 2-seater to start the race in Detroit, which would actually be really funny. I already love the irony that's been set up, so I can't wait. That would be hysterical, actually.
Well, there is an option. If you get around and say, we're going to go to Detroit, I'm available.
Yeah.
To drive the car.
To the 2-seater?
Yeah.
Okay.
In case you can't go, I'd volunteer.
Honestly, all right. I think that would be hysterical.
I hope it's big enough that I can get in.
And out, sure. Actually. Sure.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
That's what I said.
Don's driving the 2-seater to Detroit. Here we go.
Yeah, everybody will leave. Well, thanks for stopping.
No
Good
worries.
luck to you upcoming. It'll all be, I guarantee, all these people and thousands more will be cheering for you on race day.
Thank you. That'll be fun. Thanks, guys.
Conor Daly. Thanks. Appreciate it. My next guest has come in the door. He's done signing autographs for the moment, so he'll be coming up here. But in the meantime, if you need anything stitched, embroidered, where else would you go but Stitches 2? They're located on Gasoline Alley. Call Fran. We'd love to talk to you. Your number is 317-271-3444. That's Stitches 2. And if you are a vintage car fan, it's upcoming this weekend at 2019 Road Atlanta Grand Prix from the 28th to the 31st in Brazelton. If you want to, anywhere in the area and you want to see some great vintage cars, you got to see the SVRA at Road Atlanta. And if you want to find out what happened to some of the cars you knew as a kid and some of the drivers you knew as a kid, they're probably maybe still driving some cars, and the cars you knew are still around. How do you find out? Go to svra.com and subscribe to the Vintage Racing Quarterly. It is absolutely a first-class magazine. Great stories, great writers, fabulous photography. You'll love it, so check it out. svra.com. Subscribe to Vintage Racing Quarterly. Sam Pierce Chevrolet. You want to find out where the best prices in the country are? Go to Daleville. That's in the country. Take I-69 north to exit 234. Exit east 1 mile, and you'll see him on the right, Sam Pierce Chevrolet. And when you buy a car from Sam, he doesn't stand behind you. He stands alongside you. So check him out, Sam Pierce Chevrolet. And if you haven't joined as yet the IndyCar Nation, do yourself a favor. Go to IndyCarNation.com, sign up, and in the promo box put Don K, DONKAY 15. You get a 15% discount on a champion or legend membership. Join it. You got a lot of fun, a lot of things you do when you get to the racetrack. You might even get to wave the green flag for practice. Get a 2-seater ride, get a pace car ride, all kinds of good stuff. Do you need insurance for your home, your car, or your commercial property? Do what I've done and a lot of people have done. Go to VP Insurance. They're located at 5004 West 16th Street in Speedway. Talk to Mike Pardee. You'll find you get better coverage for less money. Call them, make an appointment, 317-248-0070. That's VP Insurance in the beautiful town of Speedway, Indiana. And if you're planning a party or a get-together for the 500, it's never too late. Call Tony Meyer. She's a special events professional. She can help you. Give her a call. Her number is 317-515-7929. And if you're in town, you want to tour some shops, there's only one way to do it. Call Bill and Fluffy, a.k.a. Stephanie, and get in their limousine, 6 to 8 people. Decide the shops that you'd like to see, and he'll help you. They'll take you on a tour, pick you up in one place, take you to the shops, take the tour, get back in the car, and they'll drop you off where you started from. Want to get more information? Number is 317-820-3595. That's the Throckmorton's, a.k.a. Grand King Shops. If you want to buy a car, you want to get into vintage racing, how about 77 Don Edmonds Auto Research Lindsay Hopkins chassis with a Drake Offie? Want to find out about it? Again, same number, 317-820-3595. My next guest is a young gentleman, a graduate of Missouri U, a.k.a. Mizzou. He graduated a degree in journalism, and boy, has he shined with that. He is, the last couple of years, is the IndyCar Insider, and I read his stuff all the time, and he's an outstanding writer, and what impresses me the same with Trackside, he doesn't hand him a lot of hooey. He listens, and he writes what he hears. And I have in front of me his prognostication for the 17 races this year, and I have in front to see how he's doing.
Uh-oh.
Please welcome my friend, Mr. Jim Ayello. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's fun. I'm glad you had Conor on here. I just ran into him earlier today. We did a podcast together. So,
really?
Yeah.
What did you talk about? Girls?
That, girls, Coda, yeah, you name it. You name it. We covered it all.
I see.
It's a tough act to follow, though.
Oh, no. You'll do fine. If you can't say it, I'll read it. The last few articles you've written have been I thought spectacular. The one you did on James Hinchcliffe, which I happen to have here,
Thank you.
Notice. It's really outstanding, and when you think about it and talk to the young man, you realize, wow, he's pretty something, pretty special.
He's an incredible guy, and when you consider what all the things that he's been through in the last few years in terms of almost dying on track at Indianapolis, even seeing what happened with Robbie Wickens and then not qualifying for the 500, which obviously is not nearly as big a deal as those other two things that I mentioned. But you also look at some of the things that have happened in his racing career. I mean, he races for a guy, Sam Schmidt, who is lost the ability to walk because of racing. His hero is Greg Moore. This guy who died because of racing, and he's been surrounded by tragedy his whole life. Yet he just keeps pushing through.
And he doesn't slow down. If he sees an opening, he goes for it.
Absolutely, no. There's no hesitation. And I've talked to him about it. He said, you can't hesitate. I mean, if you're going to be a race car driver, he always talks to Marco Andretti about that. He says, the moment that you start thinking about that, the moment you start hesitating, that's when you have to stop racing. Because that's it. You're done. You can't be fast anymore.
If you're not in the car to win, you're right. There's no sense to be there. And also, he got popped on the head and got knocked cold at the Speedway once.
Yeah, he had a concussion at the Grand Prix.
Yeah. So he has had his troubles.
Yeah.
Now, I think, what is your impression of Alexander Rossi?
He's really fast. I think he was in line for, I don't know what you guys think watching the race this weekend, but I thought he might have had something for Will Power there at the end, that Ayello not come out. And that was the guy actually I think I predicted to win that race. So I was a little personally a bitter at on that one. But no, I think he was real quick. And Andretti cars are super fast this year. I'm sure Conor told you all about that. But really, they've been the cars to beat. I was talking to Graham Rahal at the end of the Coda race, and he had a pretty good one himself. And he said those Andretti cars right now are just the cream of the crop. That's who they're all chasing right now. And so yeah, Alex, he just kind of had tough luck with that. Ayello came out, but you got to give him credit. He used those red tires to his advantage at the end, made up about 4 or 5 spots, and came in with the top 10. It was kind of a Scott Dixon-esque save for him. It wasn't a top 5, but it was a pretty good pull.
How did you like Coda? What did you think is a facility in the competition?
It's a gorgeous facility. I mean, I don't think I've been to a better facility. It is just state of the art. I mean, it's incredible. The media center is fantastic. They got with the way they treat their fans is wonderful. I mean, really, it's an impressive place. I would recommend it to anybody that wants to go down there and check it out. And the racing ended up being good. I was a little worried with a pretty much a 4-mile track and there's going to be a lot of separation I was a little concerned about, and I didn't know how much passing there would be, but once those tires started to fall off and you got past that first stint, really things got hairy and pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, but if you notice, as I have over my 60 years, they always say this would be a hard place to pass. But yet they pass in places they say, oh, it's too narrow. Zip, the guy, where the hell did he come from? He went by me.
You can't believe race car drivers when they tell you anything, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's when you graduated from school, what was your goal? What did you want to write about? Being in journalism, graduate, what did you have in mind?
Sports. That was it. I mean, that was kind of at the end of the day, I couldn't play anymore. I realized I wasn't good enough to succeed as an athlete in any way, shape, or form. So the best thing I could do was try to stay around sports, which is what I loved, was to write. And so I went to the best college I could find to learn how to do that. And I think it's paid off pretty well. I really like this. I love the job that I'm in, and I love being able to travel with the series and talk to some of the best drivers in the world. So it's been pretty cool.
Well, from October to March, what do you write about?
October to March, you name it. I was pretty heavy on the Pacers beat for a while there, they've been pretty fun considering what's going on. I think everybody thought with Victor Oladipo going down that might have been the end of their season, and they're right there in the 4 seed right now, competing with Boston. So that's really impressive. It's been fun to keep up with them. I kind of miss covering the team, day to day. But I mean, like I said, I love what I'm doing with IndyCar. But watching them continue to win and continue to fight for that home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs is really cool. And then, cover a lot of Colts. And I don't know, like I said, you name it, whatever the star needs. I try to stay busy.
Which of the athletes are the easiest to approach?
Of the ones the
ones you cover.
IndyCar, honestly, I feel like that's the kind of cop-out answer, but these are I don't know, they're some of the, they embrace the media more than some of the other guys do, and I think it's because, I think we all know this, IndyCar is a smaller sport than the NFL or the NBA, and they kind of recognize that they might need, the media coverage a little bit more, and plus these guys, they want to get their stories out there. They're very interesting people. They have a lot to say. And they want to talk about. I mean, you just talked about James Hinchcliffe. I mean, you can't ask for a guy with a bitter personality and a guy with more to say. You ask him about any topic, he's got an opinion. You ask him a movie, TV show, doesn't matter. He's got an opinion for you. And so they're some of the easiest guys to talk to, and not just about racing. Like you said, like I was just saying, you can talk to him really about anything, and it can be free flowing. And what I like about IndyCar is that sometimes you're at Pacers practice or a Colts practice, and you're in there for 5 minutes, and then they brush you out, and I understand they have schedules to maintain, but sometimes with an IndyCar guy you can get caught up talking for 20, 30, 40 minutes and really just ask all the questions you want.
Well, if you're getting a paycheck every month, it's $3 or $4 or $5 million a month. You got to go to the bank and get organized. You can't just stand around talking to you or I.
That's 100% sure. I wouldn't do it if I was making $3 or $4 million.
It's interesting because I found over the years as well that they'll. Almost 99%. There's one that used to be really bad, but he's gotten married now and he's much easier to get to and a little more talkative. I won't mention any names, but
okay.
I think you might know who I'm talking about.
I have a guess.
Yeah. But they're willing to, if they got the time, they'll talk to you. What do you like to do? What would you like to do? Jack Harvey would like to be a pianist.
Jack Harvey's a talented guy, outside of the race car and inside the race car. He's off to a heck of a start, though, this year. A couple of top tens with Meyer Shank. Yeah. I don't think anybody saw that coming. That's great for what that team is doing.
He's excited about it, and he probably could have done better this weekend.
Absolutely.
Should have done better.
They got a quick car. I mean, I think it's kind of a shame because there's so many good storylines that come out, but you have like Colton Herta, and there's some of the Pato Award, and there's a lot of good stories. And some of the ones like Jack Harvey, I feel like kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit. But he's off to a really great start.
How is Colton to talk to?
Colton's great. He's got a sharp sense of humor. He's quiet. He's a little bit quiet sometimes, but once you get him going a little bit, he's as knowledgeable of an 18-year-old as you've ever going to talk to. I mean, I was talking to Brian Barnhart about him, who's the team president at Harding Steinberg, and he said just talking to this kid, he knows so much more about racing than any other 18-year-old I think he's encountered, and it's just so impressive. He's so far ahead of where other kids are his age, and so the funny part about when he won, though, I felt like that kid was exhausted after winning that race.
That's what he said.
Yeah, real time. I mean, I think he said in the media he needed a nap, and then I felt like I got bad news for you, man. You got about 3 more hours of interviews to get through, but eventually he got through them all. He's a professional, but I think it's one of those things he's never done the victory lap before in IndyCar. Never doesn't really know what that entails. You got to do all the satellite interviews and take a post for all the pictures, and like I said, it was something I don't think he knew about. But I think he's happy to do it again sometime soon.
Oh, I'm sure he will be.
Oh yeah, and I think he will do again sometime soon.
I think he will as well. I think it's amazing. You think, well, they got one driver, one had to go, and they got the one driver, and they've lost some crew. I understood. I don't know if that's true, but the team he got put together behind him, and when you talk to him, he's just as calm. He's not excited. He doesn't get all hyped up. He's just an easygoing kid. I talked to his dad at St. Pete, and he said, he's ready. I said, do you think he should be here at 18? He said, yeah, he's ready. And obviously, he is.
I know. When I talked to Brian and Victory Lane, I think he was still a little bit in shock. I mean, he was happy. I mean, it couldn't have been a happier dad out there, obviously. But he was, I think he was a little stunned. I asked him, I said, I know your kid is talented. He said, I've known since he was 7 years old he was going to be able to win IndyCar races. I said, but did you expect him to win this quickly? And he said, absolutely not. It would have been very presumptuous to think that Colton would have been victory lane against some of the best competition in the world this fast. And I think, it's surprising his dad. He surprised his team. He surprised a lot of people. I mean, we all knew he was super talented, but man, that was quick. I mean, it's third IndyCar race. He's now the youngest IndyCar winner in series history. That's incredible.
And the interesting thing is there was, I think, 3 rookies in the top 10.
Right?
I remember right, yeah.
Is that right? Pato was 8th. Who am I missing now?
Wasn't Santo Ferrucci, wasn't he in the top 10 or 11th, I think?
Ferrucci finished, he had, I think, some trouble toward the end. I think he finished toward the bottom. He finished top 10 at St. Pete, though.
Yeah. They've got some good young talent getting in, and there's a lot more waiting to get in, like Conor Daly, for one.
Absolutely.
So, your prognostications.
Oh, man.
Now, you came close in St. Pete. You picked Scott, and he finished second. So
I know.
That was pretty good. And then you had Alexander Rossi for this past week at Coda. You missed a little bit, but you didn't rave the yellow, so that you probably would have been close.
I would have been right on it, too.
Yeah,
and I think I had Marcus Ericsson finishing in the top 5, and he was right on it, too, before he had that pit problem. So, yeah, I was feeling good about myself about 40 laps in, and then things went haywire.
Now stand by. Your pick for the race at the Grand Prix of Alabama.
Okay.
Will Power.
Yeah.
I don't hear a lot of cheering.
Not a lot of Will Power fans in the crowd here? No. Okay. You got to feel bad for what happened to him last week, though. I mean, man, he had that race in the he had that race. I think he was going to win it, and then the yellow comes out. Okay, well, you at least salvage the top 10, and then it's kind of the drive shaft breaks, and now he's finishing dead last. I mean, that's just a heartbreaking way to lose a race, and for him to. Okay, well, some people are happy about it.
It's a shame because he really is a nice guy.
I like him a lot, but like I said, I haven't had the experiences that some people in this room have had with him. So
he had an attitude problem early on, but since he got successful 56 poles he's got and wins he's got, he's kind of changed a little bit. He's a little better.
Is the ovals? Is that why? Because he used to hate ovals. Is that why people are frustrated with him? I get that, but. He was pretty open about how much he hated doing ovals. He's winner.
But he won one. I think he forgot that.
He loves ovals now. Yeah, and he's pretty good at them.
Not too bad. What do you look forward to it at Alabama?
Interesting.
Now, you have said you think Ryan Hunter, oh, that's Long Beach. You said you think Will Power will take it.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. Penske is up and down.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, it was only one Chevy, which was his, and the top Fast Six. The other five were Hondas. And they still got the pole.
I honestly think Hondas have probably a little edge there, and that just tells you how good Will Power is at qualifying. He really is that good at qualifying. I was making jokes. I mean, I think a couple of years ago he was at 48, 49 poles, and we asked him about Mario Andretti, and he said, no, that's too far away. I'll never get that. And now, when he's 11 away now, and I think it's a very realistic possibility, and he's won both of them now. I mean, gosh, at this pace, he'll have it by Mid-Ohio.
Just about, yeah. Then they go from there to Long Beach, and your prognostication there is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Why?
It's what I just said a little bit ago, and again, like what Conor was telling you, these Andretti cars have been super quick. They were really quick at Long Beach last year. If you remember, Alexander Rossi was just sheer domination at Long Beach last year, and I kind of think Ryan had that kind of domination on a it was a road course, but it was at Sonoma. Ryan's been really good this year so far, really quick. Obviously finished third here at COTA, and I think he had a top 5 taken away from him too when his engine blew at St. Pete. So that's a guy that I think is going to be in the thick of the championship hunt, and he's going to get his wins. I don't know exactly where they're going to come, but I'm going to go with Long Beach for now. But actually, Alex is a guy I hate picking against at a place like Long Beach, but I think it's going to be an Andretti. I'll say that.
Then they come to the IndyCar Grand Prix. Once again.
You can't pick anybody but Will at the Grand Prix. No one else wins.
Well, no.
I'm not wrong, right? Yeah, no. That's true. Pagano won the first 2, right? Or first, yeah. But then it's been Will ever since. So
he's struggling big time.
Pagano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because you'd think with Andretti, there are 3 or 4 of their cars are all fast.
Yeah.
And Penske used to be that way. Now he may have one. Will at this point.
Joseph won St. Pete.
Yeah, Joseph is up there. So
he's leading the championship. He's doing fine. Pagano, the problem with him is he's had some qualifying bugaboos where he gets out there and he doesn't really get to turn that fast lap on his red tires. It's happened to him twice now because of red flags. So I mean, not saying it's an excuse. You can get out there a little earlier and turn that quick lap, but he hasn't, and it's kind of worked against him. And he's had to start in the back, so it's been trouble. And then he ran into Alex during the race. I think they were both a little frustrated with their position at that point.
I'm sure.
And he lost it. Popped a tire, and that was the end of it for him.
Well, I think the Grand Prix. I think you might be talking to a 19-year-old that may have won that one.
You think so? You get 2 19-years-olds though. I'm wondering which one are you talking about?
Colton.
Pato's going to have a chance.
Yeah, I think he will. He's going to be good.
Oh man, he's already good.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Trevor Carlin, that guy was smiling ear to ear, and the thing is, they finished 8th, and they had a top 5 car, and he just ran out of fuel, and he barely. They said they weren't even sure he was going to make it to the finish line. That's how little fuel he had left. So they were happy with the 8th, but that car was very, very capable, and so was Pato.
Obviously, you said that your athletic career was over, so you didn't follow Jay Fry on the football team
at Mizzou.
Yeah.
No, he is the superior athlete. I'll have to give that one to him.
Well, he's bigger, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he played tight end, I think, pretty well there at Missouri. I don't know if he made the joke to you that they retired his number at Missouri, and then the follow-up line is that it was Kellen Winslow that they retired the jersey number for. But they both were 83, I think. So yeah. Pretty talented guy.
Yeah, to start 4 years for a major college is pretty good.
Yeah, he was a very talented athlete, I think, and has taken his talents to IndyCar and doing a pretty good job by most accounts.
What do you think about how he's doing with his 5-year plan and things that he's working toward? I think it's 2021. They want to add 100 horsepower.
Yeah,
that should pick up the speed a little. I'm sure.
I think the thing about Jay that no one can deny is that everything he said he wanted to do in that 5-year plan, 3, 4, 5 years ago, he has accomplished so far. The last thing, that last item on the bucket, is something I talked to him this weekend about, was adding that 3rd engine manufacturer. And he's still. It's funny how he doesn't. I asked him about it, and he doesn't want to talk about it. And he doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't like talking about things that aren't done. He wants to have it finished. He wants to have it in the series, and he knows what that could do for the series. So, if you're going to doubt Jay Fry, I wouldn't do it just because of what I said. He's been able to accomplish those things that he's wanted to so far.
Yeah, he wanted a new car. He wanted better safety. He wanted better runability. He wants the windscreen, but that hasn't worked, so he's put that little piece of metal up. But they're still, I don't know if they started testing the new windscreen yet or not.
No, the new windscreen, they're still testing that, and that little thing they're putting in the middle, we won't see that until the test here in April, and they'll have that on there for the ovals, and that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
You know what that does. I talked to Scott Dixon, and he's run some simulator with that, and he said he doesn't think it will affect visibility, so that should be good. I don't think it'll affect the look of the car either. It's pretty small, and you can't see it. I mean, when the cars are going around, you really can't see it, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but we'll see.
And the shame was that the windscreen they had when the drivers liked it.
They did.
But then when they went and tested it, when they threw beanbags at it and shattered. I'm thinking, geez, those things are on F-16s that don't shatter there.
Yeah.
So
you got some kinks to work out on that one.
But they
sure.
said, I think Jeff told me they should have some new material in, I think about now. And they'll start testing it somewhere in there. So you got to take your hat off to him. He's trying to make a safer, faster, more exciting racing, and he's still an oval guy. He said, I'm still an oval guy. We're still working on at least one more.
He does. I think it hurt everybody a little bit last year when they lost Phoenix. And again, I don't think that Phoenix race was everybody's favorite. It wasn't the most attended. But I think like just taking the oval count down to 5, right? I think is where they're at now. I don't think anybody was happy about that. I mean, maybe some of the European drivers were happy about that. But otherwise, other than that, I think no, almost everybody wants to see. That's the thing they all pride themselves on here is being versatile. They can do road courses, street courses, short ovals, and super speedways. And so no one wants to see the oval count get smaller.
You know, the thing I always found interesting from the time I've been around and working with teams and so forth, the drivers come in from Europe. You ever driven an oval? No. What do you think? Oh, I don't know. But once they've been on them a couple of times and get used to it, they love it.
They start to like it, for sure. Felix Rosenquist, who we all know is another talented rookie, unbelievably talented. I think he's going to win a race or two this year as well. But he got his first oval test at Texas the other day. And his driver coach at Ganassi is Dario Franchitti, who's pretty good at ovals.
The word is
right.
out on
yeah.
that.
And so I talked to Dario, and I said, well, what did Felix say? And he goes, oh, man, he was scared. It was scary. He'd never done it before. It was the first time. So he said, but that's what you have to have that fear, the proper respect the first time you're on an oval. And he said that was what Felix had. And then once he got going throughout the day, start checking off those boxes that the Ganassi wanted him to do, started to feel more comfortable a little bit. And I'm not going to say he's going to win an oval or anything this year. Guys don't take to ovals the way, say, a guy like Robbie Wickens took to ovals last year, which was incredible. So don't want to put that on Felix yet, but I think he could be good there.
Well, he tested at Texas. I think he was running primarily by himself.
Yeah, it was a tire test. I think the Carpenter cars were there, and then the Ganassi cars were there, I think.
Wait till he gets 2 or 3 cars around him.
Yeah.
Then
he
the
knows.
shakes might come back.
He knows he knows it's a daunting task, and he's very much respecting the whole. I asked him if does it kind of stink that the only oval you're not going to get any oval race experience before the Indianapolis 500, but with Indy you get a couple weeks of practice. He'll be running in traffic during practice. He'll have plenty of time to get used to it, I think. But I think he's going to take it nice and slow to start.
Well, I think also when they signed him, I read a lot about. Scott, you're going to have competition from your own teammate. This kid is good.
Scott's excited about that. He knows that elevates the level of Chip Ganassi racing. We've already saw. I mean, I don't know if you were taking bets. If you would have said anybody think Felix Rosenquist is going to out-qualify Scott Dixon in back-to-back races to start his career. I mean, that is an achievement in and of itself. Because those Ganassi cars aren't quite there right now, but Felix is managing to get just a little bit more out of them than Scott, and that's pretty dang impressive.
The kid has won at everything he's done, so there's no reason to think he won't win here.
No, absolutely. I think that's why Chip likes to say he likes winners, and Felix is one of those.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting between the three because there's a lot of talk about it, and on television this weekend, Ryder's got Alexander driving a sports car for him. He said, he's going to go after him. You got to know that. But I understand that Alex and his father said, we like Honda, we want to stay. We're happy with that.
They really, Honda loves, to your point, Honda loves Alex, and for obvious reasons. But Alex really wanted to stay with Honda when there was that talk a couple of years ago about Andretti moving to Chevy. He was real hesitant about that. I don't think he wanted any part of that. He didn't. I think he would have preferred they stayed at Honda like they did, and I think that's going to be his preference going forward. Now, will that prevent him ever from going to Roger Penske? I don't know, but. He's got. I mean, they're friendly now. He drives that Acura program for him in sports cars. So Roger knows he's talented, and Roger likes to go after those guys. I mean, you're talking about that's a pillar driver you can build around for the next 10 years.
Plus, Chip has Hondas,
Yeah.
In case he's been known to chase from time to time.
Absolutely. He's the kind of guy, somebody was asking me, he said, do you think Chip would add a third car if Alexander Rossi became it? I said, heck yeah. I mean, if you could find the money, and I don't think he'd have trouble finding the money for something like that. So, I don't know, but I would think if there was a Honda team, yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah, you're right, if Andretti maybe switches and they're not Honda anymore, maybe that's where Alex goes. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I know he loves it at Andretti, so.
Yeah, and which is interesting, when he first came here, when I had him on the first time, I said, is your dream still to go back to Formula One? And he kind of, yeah. But now he's all set on this.
He's done. I think that Formula One dream is behind him now. Yeah. I think right now, I talked to him about the coming so close in the championship last year with Scott Dixon, and it's multiple times that I've talked to him since then and now that he's mentioned the 5 championships that Scott has. I think he wants those 5. That's ambitious for a guy who's got none right now. But he's also not a guy I would doubt is going to want. He's going to push himself until he gets there. I predicted him in the preseason predictions to win the championship and get his first one this year. And I would be surprised if Alexander Rossi left or retired from IndyCar without multiple championships.
No question, he's got the talent, and he knows he's not quite as bad as Takuma Sato. You give him an inch, and he'll knock you out of the way to get there. But if you give Alexander an opener, he'll take it.
They're kindred spirits in that way, right? I mean, that's. I think I can't remember who told me this about Alexander Rossi, but I think he kind of takes that as a compliment when somebody says if you give the guy. It was Wickens last year who said if you give Alexander Rossi an inch, he's going to take it. And Alex, as far as I concerned, what he was concerned was that's a compliment. That's the kind of driver he wants to be. He doesn't want to be friends out there on the track. If you're going to give him something, he's going to take it.
That'd be interesting to see what would happen if he and Hinch got into a tangle.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Those guys. Yeah, they keep it friendly off the track, but I think on the track, yeah, the competitive fires burn.
Absolutely. Getting to the racing, from where you started in school and you want to get involved in sports, did racing ever cross your mind as a place to go?
Sure. I mean, I honestly did. I know this sounds stupid, but I didn't care. I just wanted to cover sports, and I'd watch some racing when I was younger, and so if that was an avenue that it was open up to me, I would take it. It really wasn't something that I don't think I was talented enough of a writer to just pick what I wanted to do and go after it. I was more of the kind of guy that I just said yes to everything. I took every opportunity I could get that somebody offered me, and it led me to this, and that's been a fortunate, kind of happy accident, I guess, in a way. I followed racing. Like I said, I would never say that it was like the dream job for me, but I really do love it, and it's become a fun and the best part of my job. I love it. But yeah.
How many here read
Bad ending,
Jim? You read him? Now, how do you told me an hour ago you couldn't read? Now you tell me you read his. That's what you said.
Don't take that from him.
I have some stories here. If you haven't seen them, you're welcome to look at them. I personally love to read what you write. I think it's good. I think it's concise. You tell what you're told. You don't make up stuff. And I think that's why that these guys are so willing to talk to you, because they know they're not going to get some cockamamie story. They say, where the hell did this come from? I didn't say that. So I enjoy reading. I think you're doing a great job. I hope you're around for a long time. And keep it up.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
And unfortunately for you, perhaps, I might call you again.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep this prognostication sheet to see just how.
I wish you wouldn't do that. Last year was brutal for me. I did bad. It was bad. Somebody was keeping track on Facebook, and it was giving me a real hard time. So I gotta get one. I gotta get one at least. I'm hoping it's this Power had. Oh, it's gonna be Newgarden. See, now I'm regretting my choice. Who? I don't know.
It'll be fun.
What's that?
But,
okay, I predicted Ed for the 500. Okay, yeah, that's Carpenter at the 500 would be just an incredible story. That would be. I would love to write that one. I think it would write itself, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have to do much.
Yeah, I know when they lost Phoenix and they picked up Cody, he said, "Geez, I only got 5 races this year."
I know. I feel bad for him. He's in he's in owner mode all the time now, and you can tell he kind of gets that look in his eye when the race starts. Like, man, I think he's ready for May to be here, or actually April, right? He gets to get in the car for the test. He was there for Texas, but yeah, April's the real one.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing. I know everybody else in here reads it and does as well. Thank you for taking the time to come in here. I know when did you get home? Yesterday?
I I got home this morning, actually. It was my flight got delayed. I ended up staying.
Everybody had trouble with that.
Southwest right now, man. I tell you.
I've never had trouble with them.
It's like a recent error that's cropped up. I ended up sleeping in Atlanta last night and getting in this morning, and then bombarded by Brickyard news. That was a big shock. I didn't think they were going to move that race. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, they whined and cried about it was so hot to run, and so they moved to September. Now they're going to July the 5th.
I know. I don't really.
Oh well.
It's
that's all right. We went down in Texas when they had 2 races down there, and went down. You going to the race? Oh, it's too hot. I said, for God's sake, you live in Texas.
It's Texas, yeah. It's July 4th weekend. It'll be hot, so if you end up at the race, you end up at the race.
That's the way it is. And they'll still run the midget race there.
Yeah, they're still doing that.
So that'll be good.
Xfinity, they'll still have it all. It'll be a big day.
Well, thanks for taking the time to come, even though it took you 2 days to get back.
I was still writing, so.
Well, that's good. Thanks for coming. Enjoy reading what you do. Keep it up, and I'll call you again probably before the end of the year and keep count. I'm going to keep count. Thanks. Jim Ayello from the IndyStar. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Now, I gotta bring this up. He says I shouldn't say IT guru, but he is. We've had a tough winter. There's been a lot of winds and things blowing around. You got a problem with your roof? What the hell is this? Oh, I called the guy. I almost sang to him, but he was gagging, so I stopped. Last Saturday was not last Saturday, but there was a birthday for John Martin. He hit anyway, happy birthday, John. And I noticed they had a lot of cake and cupcakes and stuff. Did you bring any back with you? Get out. Get out. You didn't fill your suitcase? Good grief. Anyway, during this winter, there's been a lot of bad things flying around with the heavy winds and stuff. Do you have a roofing problem? Maybe you're not aware of it. Reed Roofing can help you, and you can get their 22-point free inspection. My colleague behind me, who keeps thinking that I'm going to convert to the Cubs, which is not going to happen, is their sales representative. If you want to have him take a look at your roof to make sure it's okay, come and talk to him. He's sitting right behind me. We'll be here next week. I'm talking with a couple of people about being in next week, and when I get them lined up, you will see it from an email, on Facebook, or on my website, autosportradio.com. Thanks for being here. Thanks to Conor, and thanks for Jim for coming in. Till next week, Dan Kay saying good night. See you next week. And don't forget Reed Roofing, 22-point inspection free. Find out if you got a problem.